if you didn't watch us yesterday was day one, Claire. We talked about psychics, mediums, and how your Clair gifts are your etheric wiring to connect to spirit. So that's what we talked about yesterday. And so if you get confused at all by any of the terminology, if you're brand new, go back to watching yesterday's, just in case, you need to go back. But what we're talking about today is self-awareness, because, and I know some of you, we talked in depth yesterday about what all the meanings are about how to develop your gifts. And we're going to talk today about spiritual practice and self-awareness. And I know a lot of you are like, okay, but how do I do this? How do I do this? We're going to talk more about tools to expand tomorrow. But I have had, and Shakisha also has had, many students in the process of our business, helping them open up their gifts. And what we have found is the best way to do this, if you're being pulled towards Clair, opening your Clairs or going on a spiritual journey, if you're being pulled to all of this, it is imperative that you become extremely self-aware, because if we're always looking outside of ourselves for different reasons, and we're very egoic, if we're in the egoic connection, you could be the most brilliant clairvoyant ever and miss the opportunity because you're leaning too much on your ego, and you're leaning too much on your own reserve as opposed to connecting to spirit. So being extremely self-aware is really important. So that's why we're talking about that today. So before we get started, I want everyone to just take a minute, take a deep breath. I know you guys are busy. There's a lot going on. It's the morning time here in the Western Hemisphere. But I want you to just sit with your eyes closed if you can, and just imagine you connecting through your crown chakra to universal energy, allowing that energy to come in through your crown, go down through your third eye, your throat chakra, your heart chakra, your solar plexus, your sacral chakra, and your root chakra, and ground your energy. And I just want you to be here, just feeling that for a moment. And when you have a second, take a deep breath and shake off anything that you want to let go of. And just bring yourself back here to this moment. If we give ourselves allow ourselves to be present, we can retain more information. I'll also give you a tip. If you guys are on a spiritual journey and you're opening up your gifts and you're starting to learn how to connect to spirit, writing it down is really important, and being present is really important, because our egos will allow us to forget things that were synchronicities in the universe, or messages that we got, or connections that we've had spiritually, because it's also just a protection mechanism. So know that keeping record of your experience is really important. So, all right, we will get started on self-awareness and spiritual practices. We wanted to start today's by talking about the chakras, because yesterday we were mentioning how our Clair abilities, which is the way our spirit connects to universal energy. So it's the way our bodies connect to universal energy, either through clairvoyance, claircognizant, clairsentient, or clairaudient, different ways within our body. Becky said she needs to shower and notepad. That's awesome. The four main Clairs connect through our chakra system. Now, our chakra system is the 7 energy points in our body that goes down our spine that is connected to spiritual energy. So it's a very physical thing that's connected to spiritual energy. Our chakras affect our auras. Our auras are the energy that's around us, that is within our fields, our energetic fields. And so that's why we have different aura colors. They're based on our chakras. And I've said this before a million times. There's a debate whether there's 144 chakras within the body or like a billion. So I know we have a lot of chakras that are connected, but they're connected to the 7 main chakras. So and then chakra just means, in Sanskrit, it means wheel. So it's a vortex of energy that's within our body that connects our human body to our physical being. So you can say pretty much that the chakra system is where the soul is harbored within that 7 layers, the 7 wheels. Good morning, Lexi.
Good morning, Donna.
And so we just wanted to go through and talk about the human or energy field, which is your aura, and the chakras. You guys, to get a good idea of your chakra system is really important so that you can connect to that energy and use your gifts, because your gifts are brought on through your chakras into your clairs. They're very connected. So if you have any questions on the chakras as we're going through this, please let us know. So the root chakra is chakra number 1. So it's so funny because it starts with 1 at the bottom and goes up to 7 at the top. Now, a lot of you know, if you're in the spiritual community, about chakras, so we're not going to get really deep within them, but the root chakra has a red energy around it. The red energy has a very forceful, strong, passionate, fearful energy to it. So it's a very human, very spiritual energy. It's the red chakra that's at the bottom of our spine. So when that's out of alignment, we can feel different things. We can feel unsafe or spacey. When it's in alignment, we can feel like we're attracting really good things into our lives. So in order to feel grounded, because the bottom 3 chakras are witchy, deep, animalistic, natural, like human chakras. They're the things that keep us grounded. They're the things that have to do with our human experience. So it's really important to keep those in alignment and connected so that we can be wholehearted spiritual workers. Chakras are like the spiritual nervous system. Totally. And so the sacral chakra is an orange chakra. So it has orange energy, which is sexual, adventurous. It's a very like sensual, passion, creative energy. That's the orange color. So if these colors are reflected in your aura, you know they're affecting your chakras. And so the orange chakra is very happy, optimistic when it's in a good spinning energy. And when it's not, you can feel kind of like lonely, detached from life kind of feeling. So if you ever have those moments in your life where you feel like disconnected when you have sexual issues, that has to do with the sacral chakra. A lot of times in the spiritual community, we want to stay all up in the top 4 chakras and be like, oh, connected. But when we get to that like witchy connected Kalima energy, that goes through the bottom 3 chakras. So then we have the solar plexus, which is the yellow energy, which has to do with a spiritual journey as a human. It has to do with yellow has to do with self-worth. So if you're feeling like not confident, not reliable, it can feel like like when you feel passive and inactive, that's in your solar plexus chakra, the yellow energy. So the bottom 3 chakras are so important to connect wholeheartedly to your heart chakra. Your heart chakra is the main center of your energetic being. It is connected to your grounded chakras. It is connected to your spiritual chakras. It is what is the center point for your human journey. Being a wholehearted spiritual worker, one that has strong boundaries, works through their fear, is connected to spirit, has all the elements of the humanness and spirituality, is strong and integrated in the heart center. The heart chakra is a very strong space holder. And so when we use our heart chakras to hold energy as opposed to being in our head, if we bring it down to our heart, we are so much more connected and loving, and there's so much spiritual growth and love within the human community. Our heart chakras are very, very powerful spiritual energies that are connected to the Clair. So your heart chakra, it's a green chakra. It's a very healing energy, and it can hold immense amount of space. So when you look at the chakra system, a lot of times you'll see the heart chakra is a little bit bigger, and then you have the top 3 and then the bottom 3. And to be a wholehearted spiritual worker, it's to integrate your energy into your heart. Right, Keisha?
Yes, it's my favorite chakra. Did anyone notice how she got to the heart chakra and my face just went ding?
It's the largest energy.
I
Yep.
spent a lot of time in my heart chakra. I just
Exactly. And then so we get up to the throat chakra, and so many people talk about the throat chakra is blue energy, and it has to do with our clairaudience because it's connected through here. Our throat chakra is our truth, is speaking our voice, is our storytelling. When that's blocked, a lot of times you'll have like coughing or you like like that. Like a throat chakra is to keep open, is to be authentic, is to be raw, is to tell stories, is to be true. Heart chakra is so important for those soul entrepreneurs, whatever they call themselves. It's really important to have an open throat chakra. That's connected to that Clair as well. And then you have your third eye chakra, which you talked about yesterday, which is your clairvoyant ability and your connection to spirit. And then that's a indigo energy. So you have blue and then indigo, and then you have purple, and the top of your crown chakra is where your spiritual energy is, how you connect your aura to other people's auras through the crown chakra. And so we just had to go over quickly the chakra systems because they're actually really important when it comes to developing your Clair abilities. And then based on the chakras, you'll have different colors within your auric field. In your auric field is how you read other people's energy. So you read their soul, their aura, their energy. I feel tight in my throat sometimes. I feel like I have to breathe intentionally. Yes.
Yes. Yes, Kendra, absolutely.
I like the sexual chakra. Kim's all about the orange. So, and so it's so funny because in the spiritual community, sometimes you'll have people that like, you know, they teach about the chakras and how to balance them and clear them. It's actually super easy. You can do it yourself. You can keep your chakras in balance. And if you work from that heart chakra, you can be a very successful energy worker, spiritual worker, light worker, while also bringing in the authenticity of that witchy side. That's why Shakisha and I work on the shadow work, the witchy side, and also in spiritual energy because it's all integrated. So
one of the things that I started doing very early on, probably from the very beginning, as soon as I learned what the chakras were, of my journey, was to make it part of my daily practice. So just like Lorraine started this live today where we ran light down through all of our chakras and grounded our energy, that became a part of my daily routine. And just as I was going through all the chakras, what I would do is visualize the wheels spinning and being the brightest color they could be. So the brightest purple and the brightest indigo and the brightest blue and the brightest green and so on. With that intention in mind, I was able to really open up those centers, and that really does help with Clair development because then the information just comes so much more clear when your chakras are well maintained.
And Shakisha believes it. She believes the one thing that we want to tell you guys in this Clair development is if you're here, you're freaking powerful and connected. And if you have the desire to work with your Clairs, they're there for you. The only thing that would stop them from coming through is you're constantly telling yourself that maybe this isn't true, maybe I suck, maybe I'm not awesome, maybe I'm not powerful, maybe this isn't for me, maybe should, those type of things. The box that society kind of pushes you into is really good at shutting down those gifts. So the one thing that you have to know when starting your Clair development is that in your ego, in your brain, in that energy that tries to keep you safe, not over dramatizing it, but just you can override. So many people get into victim mode of, oh, but I think this way. And I think that you can override any negative thought patterns that you have that aren't true. You have to ask yourself, what is true? Are you here spending 1, 2, 3 hours learning about Clair development? That's not for nothing. You definitely are here. Your soul is pulling you here. You have a soul's purpose. You have this energy within you that is true. It is the truth. It is not some false outside reason that you want to learn about connecting spiritually. The truth of the matter is you feel it. So your soul has pulled you here. You are here not just to be a powerful boss babe, which is totally fine, but you're here on a mission to serve. When you can get the tools you need to serve your soul's purpose, then you can get into an abundant alignment. And the only way to get into that alignment is to break down all of the layers, all of the walls, all of the mental noise that we are conditioned to believe over and over again in school, in, you know, work, and, you know, you be a good girl and you follow all the rules, and then maybe someday you can be happy. Maybe this external thing will someday bring you happiness. And if you stop looking outside of yourself for this external, some type of happiness, if you know the now that your desire is to be connected and happy, all of the success will come. So many times people think, well, if I can open my gifts, if I can give a good reading, if I could be a soul entrepreneur, if I could open my own business, if I can do this, then I will be happy. And they don't recognize that you can, and Sarah said, I can't wait to serve my soul's purpose. You can do that today. You can start serving your soul's purpose today. If you get into alignment, I'm going to start using my gifts any way that I know how. We're giving you tools. We gave you tools yesterday. I'm using your gifts today. If I start to use my gifts any way that I know how, you are of service. You are of spiritual energy. You're not, I have to have all my ducks in a row before I can even make an impact on anybody's life and be happy. That is what society teaches us. It is not the truth, though. You have tools already to start serving your purpose. You already have the tools. Your soul is asking you to serve. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have all your ducks in a row. You don't have to prove anybody. You don't even have to prove it to yourself. You just have to follow your soul. You just have to follow your soul's journey and take every next step towards that. And you will start to open your gifts. You have to believe, make the decision right now that you are no longer available to be in the not true energy of what you keep telling yourself. You're not available to stay small anymore. Energetically, you are only available to grow spiritually, to grow abundantly, and you make that decision. I will open my gifts. That is going to work. I am going to move forward, and this is what I desire, so this is going to happen. Once you make that decision, once you become extremely self-aware of your soul's purpose and desire, and you don't let your ego run your life, that's when the gifts and the connection starts to make. So we can give you all the tools in the world, but until you make that decision, until you decide to do it, and you stop telling yourself things that aren't true, that's when you start to make pathways in your spiritual journey. I'm thinking lots of the steps.
If you watched yesterday's video, I talked about my journey, and I can tell you from that experience, from my experience, that if you are here today and you have the intention to open up your Clair gifts, it can be as easy as you want it to be. You can decide that this is going to be easy. You can decide that as your challenges come up, you're going to do the work, move through them, and move on. Or you can decide to stay where you are and allow your ego to control your journey. You know, I am being called to throw out the challenge to our tribe, because there are so many of you right now who are ready to let go of all of the stories, let go of playing small. So I'm throwing out the challenge right now. If you're in the Woo Collective, if you're watching this live, whether it's the replay or now, throw away the excuses and own your gifts, own your spiritual journey. Decide right now that your purpose is to be happy. Your purpose is to be happy, is to follow what feels good. You don't need to know, you don't need a script. You don't need to know exactly what all of the steps are going to be. You don't need to know what the whole journey looks like. You don't need all of that. What you need is to follow what feels good. Follow the breadcrumbs, the nudges that you're getting now as best you can, and to just be happy. Do what feels good.
Exactly. And it can be easy. Shakisha and I, like we told you yesterday, we have a successful business. We always meet our goals, and we've never used like anything other than following our journey, following what feels good, following our energy. We've never used anything else. Like we're now even just getting into other marketing things. Like
everything is from the heart space.
Mm-hmm.
Everything, like goals aside, everything that we do is like, what feels good? What does our tribe need? How can we serve? That's number one. That's
Mm-hmm.
number one. We have goals, yes, but we let them figure themselves out.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah, it can be. That's my word of the year. It can be easy. You're opening your spiritual gifts can be easy. Guys, just look for someone who's rooting for you. Assemble your team as you move forward. Look for the people who root for you. Don't share your journey or share your passion with the people who are going to keep you down. Get help for your soul's journey. This isn't something, a small little side hobby. This is how you are going to live the rest of your life through your clairs, through your chakras. You can be the coolest, humanest, most humany human, but while being spiritually connected. Oh my gosh, it's like the funnest journey ever. This is all for fun because someday you're going to die. And so you're going to go back to spirit and you're going to be connected again. If you don't take the possibility, take the opportunity, you'll be like, shit, I missed a really cool human experience. And then you're probably going to have to come back and do it all over again.
Caitlin says challenge accepted. Caitlin, that makes me so happy. I'm very happy. Yay.
I think Caitlin's joining our mentorship. Anyways.
I think
human
all the time. Find your tribe. So as Maureen just said, find your community, find your tribe, find the people who speak your language, who understand you, who support you in developing, and then practice. Because I'll tell you right now, one of the biggest things is to find your community, find your support, and then with those people, practice.
And practice means
confidence.
Practice means, oh, I had a dream about you. Did this happen? Or, oh, you're going through this. Can I pull a card for you? It's using the spiritual energy. It's just using it. And see, this is the thing, guys. We talked about self-awareness, and it's like, okay, what is self-awareness going to help with my spiritual journey? Give me some hearts if you guys are watching us live. If you're not, you can totally tap your computer and pretend you are.
Anyway.
If this has helped your spirit, just talking about your own self-awareness has helped your spirit. Like, that's what we have to do. We have to lift up your spirit so your gifts just start working. So you start to remember the sovereign being that you are. You are here on a purpose. You are here on a soul's mission. And that's not bullshit. It's so true. It's so true. So the reason that we want to talk about self-awareness is to give you guys this information, because so many times in our society, it's definitely not encouraged, although it's been better, for us to listen to our feelings, listen to our emotions, listen to the silence, get connected with the silence of our inner being. We're so trained to think, stay in the box, stay small. But when you take a step back and you start living your life through all of the chakras, not just the bottom three, not just fear and, low self-worth, not just like those little feelings, you start living in all 7 of the chakras and opening up your whole being. And you start to become a spiritual warrior, a spiritual worker, a light worker. You start to serve your soul's purpose by taking the little nudges, then it all starts to fall into place. And spiritual information, you were born with the ability to receive information through your 6 senses, which is your Clair abilities. So there's no special club that you have to show up to. There's no special invitation. There's no special table. You are born a human with these gifts, and you just so happen to be following the nudges of your soul. Here, you're doing it, guys. You're doing it. So that's one thing that I definitely wanted to say about connecting to yourself and being very self-aware, getting outside of victim mode, because in the spiritual journey, there's nothing worse than someone putting themselves in a place, because victim mode is when you feel bad for yourself and want people outside of yourself to fix it. And I feel like we've all been there at one time or another. It is so not, is disempowering a word? Unempowering, not empowering, to give away that energy, that control, that power by being a victim and expecting other people to help you. You are the most sovereign being that is completely capable of having 100% control over your own energy and your own boundaries. Right, Shakisha?
Yes. One of the things I wanted to mention about self-awareness from a practical sort of practicing with your clairs standpoint is this. When you allow yourself to get comfortable in the silence, and you are practicing with your clairs and feeling into or hearing or seeing or knowing or smelling or tasting with your clairs, be aware of what you feel in your body. So many times people are like, well, I don't know if I actually got a message or if this is just my ego. How did you feel? That's always my first question to my mentees. What did you feel in your body? In order for you to start to decipher when you are receiving information through your clairs versus when you are overthinking, is to be aware of how you're receiving the information in the first place. So that comes with knowing your clair and knowing how it feels in your body. So we just ran through all the chakras, right? So if you're receiving information through your crown chakra, is it tingling up there? What does that feel like to you? If you're connecting to someone else's energy, like right now, I love doing this on a live. So right now, I'm going to expand my energy into Lorraine's
You
energy.
already did it. You already.
So I can feel, for me, it feels like a bumping, like boom, I'm connected to her energy. And I also get a visual in my mind's eye of an anchor. So I know that I'm anchored, I'm in her energy field. Now I'm going to retract. So I'm just visualizing myself pulling the energy back. And you can feel the disconnect. It feels like a boop. It's fun. Do you see how fun that is? I'm just here extending and expanding my energy while I'm talking to you. And she's like, can you stop? I'm having fun with this.
Mm-hmm.
So
it is fun.
I'm very aware because I'm paying attention to what it feels like. So when I feel that bump, I'm feeling it from my heart chakra because I work so much in that space. I also kind of feel it full body, like completely all through the front of my body, going right down all the chakras. Boom. Okay, I'm going to stop.
It can be that fun. It can be, because that's what I do when I connect to people in a reading. I literally set the intention to connect. Do you feel violated, Lorraine? Not anymore.
I do it all the time.
Not anymore. It does, for a second, take my energy away. But it doesn't feel bad or anything. So much fun. So what I want you to see, so in that, so many times people would be like, well, how do you know you connected to our energy? Like, trust what you get. This is so important. If you discount the information, if you underwrite your intuition, if you write them off as mere imagination, then they're lost opportunities. You'll gain more confidence in your abilities if you start to trust what you get. You'll understand your personal symbology, as each person's clair is completely different.
Yeah.
So most of us don't spend enough time listening to our emotions and our inner voice. So spend some time listening to yourself, introspective, trusting, absorbing your new spiritual being. You have to demand from yourself the connection to your sovereign being. And the most important thing is to play with your higher self, like Shakisha was just doing. Play with your connection. See what works. Create a space for spiritual healing and clearing within your life and your physical space, your emotional space. Be part of, go outside in nature. Like our earth medicine, our earth wisdom helps us to remember. That's why it feels so good when we're in nature. It helps us to remember who we are. And so being very aware, because so many times if we're in that ego state of like just playing those ego games, like, oh, if I interact this way, then he might do this and I can do this and then he'll help me and then I'll be saved. And we get into these really, really specific little ego games. But when you take a step back and you become very present and self-aware, very present, and it's extremely hard to start the practice of presence. But when you start to become present in your being and you don't put energy onto what other people are doing, what's happening in the future, mistakes you've made in the past, and you just bring yourself to the only thing that's true, the only truth that there is this exact moment. 5 minutes from now doesn't exist because, you know, you could have a hemorrhage, not a hernia. 5 minutes ago doesn't exist because it's not true. It's just based on your reality and your perception. Yeah. So the only thing that's existing is in this exact moment. You will find the most peace that you've ever felt in this moment. In this moment is where you connect to your clairs. You don't connect to your clairs yesterday. You don't connect to spirit tomorrow. The only place that you can do it is right now. And fear doesn't exist in right now because you're fine right now. There's nothing wrong right now. Everyone right here is fine right now. There's no problems. Your life situation might have some issues, but right now you're fine. And so if we can bring our readings and our connection and our self and our journey back to this moment, the only thing that is actually true, then it kind of helps to release all of the other, fears and things that come along with that. To stay in the moment is to just bring yourself back to what is true, what is in front of you, what are you feeling, what are you saying, what are you touching, all of that. Bring yourself back to this moment.
Mm-hmm. I was just going to say, I like playing a game with myself whenever I feel, because we're all human, right? We slip into those moments where we're too focused on the past, we're too worried about the future, and we have to bring ourselves back into the present. And I like playing the game, well, what's happening right now? I'm fine right now. And now, and now, and now, and now. Like literally breaking it down second by second. And now, and now. And it's always going to be, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Yeah.
That's
and Stacy said The Power of Now, which is a book that I read a long time ago. The Power of Now is a great book. And what it doesn't talk about is how that connects you to spirit so easily as being in the present moment. But I think this is an Eckhart Tolle exercise to sit, if you're thinking too much, right? If you're too crazy and you're all over the place, ask yourself, what's my next thought going to be? Like your brain goes like, and you ask, what's my next thought going to be? After you do that, your brain stops coming up with thoughts and you stop thinking for a moment. And it's actually a great feeling to stop thinking for a moment. But the reason that presence is so important is because now is what your spiritual gifts come through.
Evelyn says, so in order for this to work, we need to completely and fully trust what's coming through always.
Yeah.
And
unless it doesn't feel good, unless it's your ego, but then it's still you.
One of the things I was going to say, Evelyn, is so trusting in what you get. What I have found for me was having community, having a mentor, whoever that is for you, and practicing brought on confidence in working with my Clairs. Confidence brought on the ability for me to trust myself more. Until I got to a point where I just trust what I get always. You get over with practice. You get over those ego thoughts of what if I get it wrong? Because that's the number one thing people are afraid of. As far as I'm concerned, when we mentor people, I think that's the number one thing we get. When we start telling people, okay, time to start giving readings, it's, I can't, what if I get it wrong? Or I need the book to tell me what the card means, or fill in the blank. There's always some sort of a training wheel that they want to hang on to because they're afraid of getting it wrong. They're afraid of trusting themselves. But the only way to get over that is to practice consistently and know that you can't get it wrong. You're just giving what you get when you do readings for whether it's for yourself or for someone else. But if you're practicing doing readings, you're only giving what you get, and you're not responsible to dissect what that means. So it's really not that hard to trust what you're getting if you can get over the what if I get it wrong, because you can't get it wrong.
Because it's not coming from you. It's not your, you're
the channel, but it's not coming from you.
Right. And the reason that we tell people to practice their gifts isn't because everyone's going to be a reader. It's say even in your everyday life, say you manage people or you're a coach, or using your Clair abilities to be able to connect to spirit will exponentially improve your life in general. So giving readings, doesn't necessarily have to be you're a card reader now, or you give readings like Shakisha and I do. This is practicing with your gifts. You don't have to be perfect. None of us have been perfect 100% of the time. So that's why we suggest people practice them, is because it's going to improve your life. If you start to use them and trust them, it's going to improve your life. How can you tell which Clairs are dominant if you're starting? Well, I would ask you what experiences you're having that are outside of just your egoic brain. What experiences are you having that make you feel connected to spirit? We would start breaking down your relationship with spirit and spiritual energy and your journey, your spiritual journey. We all have our own place. Yes, exactly. Yes, Becky. Good morning. So going back to being extremely self-aware when you're starting to connect to these gifts. Now, if I were you, I would journal tonight. I would get into a place where you can sit down and journal out the way we described the Clairs to you yesterday. Psychic ability, mediumship abilities. Journal out any experiences you've had with this. Get connected with your internal soul and your higher self and your guides. Ask them to show up. Believe that they're going to show up. Ask what your gifts are. Ask to be shown your gifts. Change your energetic frequency to a heavy, from a heavy, like, victim. Oh, this isn't for me. This isn't for me. It's for other people. It's for better people. Change it to, oh my gosh, Gaia. Oh my gosh, goddess, energy, source, God, I'm leaning on you. I'm so ready to serve. I'm ready to be my highest, best self. What are my gifts? And start writing. And just start writing. And then tomorrow we'll talk more about tools for your expansion and how you can grow those gifts. But just ask. Just ask and be in a constant state of gratitude for everything that you receive, gratitude for the ability to serve in any moment that you get to serve, and shift from lack mentality, like I can't have my gifts, I don't have gifts, I'm not good enough, this isn't going to happen, to abundance, where even with money, start giving away money and trusting that it's going to come back to you. Start giving away your gifts and trusting that it's going to come back to you. Start getting into the energetic frequency that the universe is here to support you, and the only person getting in the way is your disbelief in yourself, is your ego, which what ego is telling you that you're separate from source. I think it was Dwayne Dyer, did I say his name right? I love him and I didn't say his name right. Wayne Dyer. He said he calls ego edging God out. And what that means is telling you you are separate from all of these amazing things that are happening on the other side, that are happening to source energy. We are separate human beings so that we can have our own little journeys, but we are not separate from source. We are not separate from abundance. There is nothing blocking us but the beliefs that we're constantly telling ourselves. So to open up your gifts, it's not some, do this one exercise and your gifts will come through. It's, how can I trust what I am feeling, that I am here to serve with my message? What can I do? God, source, energy, Gaia. How can I serve? What will you have me do? That's how we start. And then tomorrow we can give you some exercises.
Kendra said, how can you bring your clairs from only coming through in deep meditation versus everyday life? Kendra,
have you practiced with reading?
Have you practiced not being in meditation and using your gifts? Your gifts don't turn off and on because you're in your sacred space or in meditation. Your gifts are with you all the time. So what I would say to you is practice using them when you're not in meditation.
Practice on people.
Practice on people.
Practice on us. Like we have a program right now and we're doing foundations and some of the people in there are killing it, doing the work. Some of them are like, I'm scared, I don't know how to move forward. Tag your mentors. Tag us. Say, hey, I need to start practicing. I'm going to tell you something. How bold is that? Start being bold with your gifts. Start being bold in life, guys. If you think about how long we've been here in the billions of years the earth has been here, this one little life is like a sliver. You can't even see it. So you might as well have fun with it. Take the spotlight off of yourself. Take it off and just do whatever you want. Start playing with your gifts. All right, so I hope that was helpful. If you guys have any, Kendra, I dare you to go into the Woo Collective, tag Shakisha and I, and be like, I'm going to give you a message.
Oh, yes. I love that.
Kendra, you can practice. Yeah, practice.
Anyone else who wants to practice?
I want someone to be super brave and tag me in the group and give me a message and be like, that doesn't make any sense. That's wrong. So I can give them practice on being rejected. Shut up. Anyways, I just started. Okay, I'm just abusive myself.
You're not gonna do that.
I'm not gonna do that. Is it Kai? Is your name Kai like Kylie? Is it Kai?
Kai, I think.
Will you explain source? Yeah, source energy is, some people call it God. Some people call it the force, if you're my husband. Um, some people call it goddess,
Universe.
universe. It's that universal energy that flows within all of us. It's the energy that we're connected to. The source is the source of the energy. That's not just this human body. If you die and you believe that your spirit goes somewhere, it goes back to source or God or universe or heaven, whatever word you want to put on it. That's what source is. I love how you amuse yourself. It's fun to be me. Like, I don't think it's fun to know me, but it's definitely fun to be me. Does that make sense, Kai? And I hope you tell me if I said your name right.
Oh.
So guys, tell me the word that you use when you're like getting outside of your energy, like your own ego. What word do you use? When I'm connecting to source, universe, I say goddess or mother god or Gaia. That's the source that's the name, the label that I give it. It's all the same. What do you call it? God, universe, energy?
I speak a lot to Gaia. I also say source or universe.
Oh, Kai. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Evelyn uses God.
Oh, I love that name.
Rhymes with pie. That's a fun thing to say. Rhymes with pie. God, universe. Mm-hmm.
Gaia.
I like how Missy, I think she used the purposeful under lowercase g, which I do as well, because the capital G is the big God in the sky from Christian faith. Heavenly Father. Oh, that's interesting. I use Jesus. Yep. The Christ consciousness is source. Higher power or God. Yep, exactly. So it's all the same thing. So I hope that makes sense to you. God or Jesus. Yeah. Awesome. Cool. Grand Uni. I like that.
Oh, that was good.
All right, guys. I use the words interchangeably. Yeah, so do I. Source I use to talk to more people because it is source. It's the source of all things. Mm-hmm. So I hope that's helpful. If you guys have any questions, please let us know. Tomorrow we'll come with some more tangible ways to open up your spiritual gifts, but I promise all of you here, all of you watching are connected. You do have Clair abilities. Let's play with them. Let's open them up and let's see where it takes us.
Tag us in the group.
Oh yeah, tag us in the group. Bye guys. Thank you so much. Bye.